Do you notice how distracting and cluttered this looks? But there is an option, and I can show you it right now. This is what we are building. One interactive chart where users can instantly switch between any metric or subcategory with a single click. Do you want to build the same? In this video, I'm going to show you exactly how to do that step by step. First, let's look at what we need. In this example, we have groups of fields, metrics and subcategories. Now we need to create a field parameters for both groups. This is the powerful feature that most people overlook. Field parameters turn one visualization into dozens of different views. When creating parameters, make sure that Add Slices to this page option is selected. First do that with your metrics, and then you do the same for your subcategories. Once the parameters are created, let's format the slicers. Select button slicer type and change the layout. I want this to be in one row. The same goes for subcategories. Button slicer type, but instead of row, this should be in a column format. The rest will be the similar. Make sure that force selection is on. It is important for our measures we are going to create next. Once we've done with parameters, we are going to create a bar chart and add those parameters to the X and Y axis. Now let's check if it is working now. Let's change the categories and metrics. Everything is fine. Here is where it gets really interesting. What if we can compare that to the previous period automatically? That's why we need this metric. We use the switch function, and which allows us to choose the variable according to selected field parameter. Now let's drag this measure to the x-axis. Now we can see both current period and the previous month showing on the same bar chart. Now let's do some formatting. We disable the title, legend, and all unnecessary fields as well. We want our bar chart to be clear and showing only necessary information, so it will not distract the users of this dashboard. Now let's change the colors of the bar. We want it to be neutral and it should not bring extra attention where it's unnecessary. Let's change the format to overlap. It would be much more compact and the overall design would be better. Let's adjust the width of the text so we make sure that it will always display it fully. Now let's add x-axis constant line to improve our visualization. Here is the interesting part. When we switch between the measures, unfortunately we have to tweak each of the metrics individually because it treats like it's the separate bar chart and it changes it to the default design. I don't like how default names of the subcategories look like, so we're going to check our subcategories measure and tweak the names, so make sure that it is displayed in the correct way. We can make this even more powerful. We are going to create a separate page used as the tooltip, which will allow us to show both current and past month value. As well, we can add one more field with a measure that will calculate the difference in percents between those 2 months. Let's create the basic fields and later we will change the measurements. So we just focus now on creating the basic design of the tooltip. Now here comes the value which we're going to use to calculate the difference between the months. The same approach, the switch function according to selected value to selected measure. It will calculate the difference and provide us with positive, negative, or value without any change. Now let's enable the tooltips on the first page so we can see how it looks like. At first it's not good, but we're going to adjust it. Now let's create the text boxes where we just put current months, previous months, and delta. Now let's adjust the position of the title. And we're going to do the same for the previous months as well. For better clarity, a difference should be displayed in appropriate color, the red for negative numbers, white for 0, and green for positive change. Now, I'm going to apply this conditional formatting to the field containing the delta. As you can see now, it is working perfectly. Let's fix the title now. It should be updated every time we change the metric or subcategory. Another measure will help us with this. Found this useful? Hit the like and subscribe. More Power BI tutorials are coming.